The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
It's Hump Day. It's Wednesday, and you're looking at a live look at the Tostitos Championship Plaza outside in front of the Ford Center, where it's hot, y'all. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you, if you live in Texas, you get it. If you don't live in Texas, it's hot. It's in the triple digits. It's going to be in the triple digits all week. I think this week we get up to like 105. It is hot. We are without Shannon today, but that's okay because I'm sitting in the captain seat. And to my left, I got my boy Kurt. On the phone, I got my boy Nate. In the back, we got Jazzo holding this down together. Wait a second. And then me. Can't forget me.
Yeah.
You know, Salt and Pepper Poppy. Together, we make Hanging with the Boys, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel us when we speak. This segment is brought to you each and every episode by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Brandon Cook will practice today.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, and from Mike McCarthy's mouth, has had one of the best camps thus far. The old grizzled vet is showing up.
We don't need CD Lamb in camp.
Well, I wouldn't quite say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't quite say that. We're just gonna say Brandon Cook's having a good camp.
Okay.
We're not gonna say we don't need CD Lamb in camp. Who, by the way, still not in camp.
Still not.
Still doesn't have a deal done. Still holding out right now for the money that he is looking for. But before we get more into that, the Cowboys had a preseason game the other day. I know you guys talked about that on Monday.
Yeah.
They're practicing again today, right? Nate's at joint practice today, correct?
It's tomorrow. Is
Tomorrow?
It
Yes, it is.
Today, right?
Today. It's
Today,
happening,
okay.
right? It's been happening about 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right, well, let's go to Nate Newton, who is live, boots on the ground in Oxnard. So tell us, Nate, so far, what are some of the things that you've seen in practice?
Well, first of all, we've lost Chuma Adoga from 6 to 3 months, 6 weeks to 3 months. So that puts the starter as the first round pick. He's launched in there, whether he earned it or not. He's the man. And that Austin Richards, that puts him out at tackle. Now they was going to try to let him battle for that inside guard, swing guard, but now that gives him first shot at being the swing tackle. Austin Richards, and that's the first thing. And the next thing, just we need to shore up our interior defensive line. They show improvement for us this game versus the run, but no pass rush. Nobody has stepped up to give us some inside pressure except Osa, who did not play. But that's our only guy that can give us some pass rush. So they're kind of looking for some guys to step up and get into that pass rush, and I think that's a lot of why the Rams wanted to come to us again to get this good look and to get this good work. I think a lot of things fell through for them because they had, I think it was somebody else they was wanting to scrimmage against, but it fell through, and they were the easier pickings, and right down the road. So it's the interior offense, the interior defensive line, and the tackles for the offensive line. That's the most important thing right now that I see.
You made it sound last time these two practiced that the Rams kind of controlled the line. Is that right?
They did. They came at us, man, with Byron Young and Jerry Burst, outside linebackers. They rushed with some intensity, with some fire in them, man. And then you go to the inside of the defensive line, Tyler Davis, defensive lineman, showed to be pretty active, and they got Goodlow, and they got Kobe Turner at the nose tackle. So they got some guys that can get after the passer, man. And they seem to have been okay against the run because when both teams got into the red zone inside this past game, nobody was successful. All we had was field goal after field goal into that last little hoorah at the end of the game. But It's good work here. I mean, I wish Jesse could have stayed because to see it, because this is some good work that the Rams and the Cowboys are competing against one another.
One of the updates that we got from Mike McCarthy, yes, we found out that Chuma Udoka, broken big toe, is out for some time. But also Mike McCarthy said, hey, we're going to give the rookie Cooper Beebe the first team rep. So now you're talking about having Guyton and Beebe in that first team rep operation. Nate, from your perspective, because I know where I stand on this, and I'll speak after Nate, but
Right.
yes, injury kind of propelled Guyton to being there full time, but do you think this is the right way to go? Should Mike McCarthy and company say, hey, listen, these are going to be the guys that we're going ahead. We appreciate you, Brock Hoffman, but I'm going to give all these young guys all the reps that they can leading up into the season so that they can be ready to go come this Cleveland Browns game.
Me and you talked about this during OTAs. Why are we wasting time? Give these guys every possible rep that you can that is feasible so your team can prosper, because if this is your long haul, if this is game 8 and beyond, why not? Why wait? I mean, it looked kind of shaky for BB at the beginning of training camp, but as his training camp has been going on in progress and he's been better and better with his snaps, I think he did okay in the game with his snaps. I just first, second, and third round picks, Jesse, in this new NFL, why did they wait? I mean, why did they wait? The BB should have been, even though his snaps weren't perfect, he should have been getting reps with the back, with the first team, because because if Hoffman go down now, that's what they realized. If Hoffman do go down, guess who's running in the game?
Right.
It's going to be BB. So you better give him all the reps he can get. So, I felt about that from day one. But, and I'm glad this Nealon kid is getting reps. Not that Sam is hurt. I hate that. But I'm glad that Nealon is getting all the reps he's getting. He need them. These are 7 or 8 core guys every preseason game. We need to get better so this team can have a chance to compete during the season.
No, I totally agree with that perspective, because let's be honest, like, you drafted Guyton in the first round for a reason.
Right.
If you thought that Chuma or Awesome or somebody else could get the job done, you would have went a different direction in the first round. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That would have set you up for somewhere else. But you went this route first round because you knew that there was a major need there with the loss of Tyron Smith that you had to address. So why play around with it?
Right.
Like let's not make this thing. You know what you have in this player. You know why you drafted him that early, and even Beebe, relatively high draft pick in the sense of where he went. These are guys that you took that high in the draft for an absolute purpose. Then let them fulfill that purpose. There's no need to hold them back from something that's inevitable. Right. You know what I mean? Like there's what you have in Brock Hoffman, and I'm not saying that those guys can't get some first team reps, but let's not play with this thing. Let's not make this a situation where there's a back and forth battle. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, because I think I've said before, being a guy that's been around here, that you kind of want to have an opportunity to keep your job or fight for your job. That's cool, but you're gonna have to now fight from behind.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this. So, obviously, those two guys, Beebe and Guyton, need to get as many reps as they can. And you would like to see some reps in the preseason game. McCarthy, though, his history is he don't play his starters. How do you think he's going to handle that? How should he handle that?
Well, this week here against the Raiders, he should just run them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, not just, Guyton needs to play and Beebe needs to play. It is exceptions to every rule. Once they get 2 series, bring them out of the game. But let them get some series. Let them understand. I mean, maybe a half. I don't care how long you play. Me, I would play them the whole game. But that's not the new NFL. Yeah. 2 series, 3 series, and the coaches decided. They gave Brock Hoffman last week, I think, 2.5, 3 series. Then they brought him out of the game, and they started the rotation. Do the same for this kid here, Beebe. Give him 2, 3, maybe 4 series, then get him out of the game if that's how you feel. But if you want to leave him in, I have no problem. I have no problem.
Which do you think Dak would prefer he do? Make sure he's healthy or make sure he's got reps?
Make sure you got reps.
I think Dak will make sure he got reps.
Right.
Yeah, I think
make sure you got reps.
I think the more, and this is with anything. We've said this before here on this show. I don't care what profession you're in. If you're a baker, the more baking you do, the better you become. If you're a carpenter, the more things that you build, the better that you become. If you're a surgeon, the more surgeries you partake in, the better you become. Right. I don't understand why we get to football and all of a sudden, and I get it. This is a physical game. It's a hurting game, but I just don't understand the reasoning behind, especially guys who lack the experience. I was a little bit shocked last week when I saw that Jalen Tolbert had kind of got the veteran treatment a little bit.
Yeah,
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was floored when I was like, wait, what? Wait, where is he?
Right.
That blew my mind. I'm like, he hasn't done enough.
No.
There's no way you've convinced me enough that you're good enough that you don't need or deserve any of these preseason reps. Those rights are reserved for guys who hold out.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be good enough to hold out. You see, so I don't know why, we have the scientific proof that anytime you want to get better in something, that it needs to be led by repetition. And then we get to football and it's like, let's not give them the repetition.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't. And then what's going to happen is you're going to just say, okay, because 2 or 3 series are fine, but as you know, Nate, you don't get, you know what I'm saying, Kurt, you don't get good to the second round when you go in there. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the bedroom, that first round for you, until you get that, when you come back in with that second round, you knocking the wall. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a rhythm. You got to I get a chance to, and this is why it's important to me, from any perspective of any position, linemen, running back, quarterbacks, DBs, you hear it a lot in baseball. It's, sometimes they don't want that pitcher to cycle through that group again, because now, if I'm a batter, I didn't watch you 2 or 3 goals now.
Yeah.
I didn't see, I got a rhythm. I got those reps in. But in football, I got to be able to see this thing happen. I need to be able to see that stun again. I need to be able to hear that, to figure out what this guy does. How does he play? Because if not, then I'm going to be shocked in the moment when the live bullets are flying. There is no blow the whistle, run it again, line up, run it again, line up, run it again. There is no, it's just a preseason game. Dak's not back there. Red jerseys are on. All that. No. When Myles Garrett is standing over top of you, it matters.
Yeah, for sure.
You see what I'm saying? And I want to be able to have. Now, will all the reps in the world prepare you for Myles Garrett? I don't know. But I know that you would be better suited to have the reps and be ready for him than not have the reps, and now everything that you see is new to you. Yeah. That's the part I just don't get why we get to this point and all of a sudden we start pulling reps away.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
For guys that need them.
No.
You got anything, Nate? That was good enough?
No, that's perfect, man.
Okay, all right. No, I thought you had something. I thought you had something with that one. Kurt, you put in an interesting thing talking about reps, having those live moments. You found something in The Athletic that talked about. They took a poll, and I want to hear what you have to think about this, Nate, and you too, Kurt.
Yeah.
The Athletic took a poll, and there are a few teams that tackle in practice to the ground. Those teams are the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Steelers. When you think about those teams, you think about at least 2 out of the 4 are kind of blue collar, right? So Lions are still a blue collar, and then you think the Chiefs, well, they're doing something right. They stay in the Super Bowl. And then the Dolphins, kind of their newfound swing in their thing. I want to get you guys' opinion. Don't answer now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to hear your opinion on your thoughts of tackling to the ground in practice. Does it hurt? Does it help? Is it minutia? Should more teams do it? Stay right here with us. We'll be right back to Hanging with the Boys.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. and sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole made with real Hass avocados will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys on this Hump Day edition. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain, blockchain.com. It is Wednesday. You know, Wednesday is Mental Health Day for me, so I got to do my check-ins. I didn't do it at the beginning of the show, but Kurt, where you at? How's your mentals? How's your dentals?
Doing good. Everything's going all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Nate, what about you? How's your mentals and dentals?
Great, brother. Thank you. Great.
Good.
You?
Mentals are good. Starting a new job soon, so I'll be getting new benefits. So once I get that intact, I'm gonna attack that. I told you I chipped my wisdom tooth. Mm-hmm. So once I get the new dental benefits, I'll go and attack those things, because that's gonna be. I don't want to pay that out of pocket. I don't want to pay that out of pocket costs.
No,
I don't want to pay that out of pocket. The good thing is, and I know Nate, you probably use this, but one of the benefits that the NFL still gives some of the former players that I do get reimbursed, but I just don't want to come out of the pocket with a couple $1,000s.
No.
I'll just
Right.
it's not killing me. Now I can go get it done and then get reimbursed. It's not painful. It doesn't hurt. I just know that if I don't get it done, it's gonna turn into that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just wait till these new benefits come so I can keep some money in my pocket with that. Jazz, how's your mentals and dentals? Sound like a villain. Okay. All right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Jazz is combing out her locks. Should I have told everybody that? Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Sorry. Secret. Sorry. Dang. I try not to do what we do on this show, but I just did it.
Just did it.
Sorry. Dang. Shoot. Didn't mean to do that. All right. I teased it before we went into break. Some football teams, during practice, tackle to the ground.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Well, they ranked them, and there was 3 teams that did it. They said often. There was one team that did it very often, which is the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I guess Mike Tomlin, that's his thing. We're going to get physical in practice. And
his quote was, "You can't box without sparring."
Yeah, I think that's a great quote.
Yeah.
So, and you got to look at those 4 teams. You know, you mentioned them. 2 were in the Super Bowl last year, and like you said, the Steelers are known for their toughness, and Tomlin, especially with him, has coached all these years. And then the Dolphins are a team on the rise. So you got to wonder. I mean, heck, Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes played in their first Chiefs start their, they play their starters. So I don't know. We've talked about it before. There has to be a balance. And you just got to wonder, as he said, how can you be ready to box if you're not sparring?
And Nate, I'll let you answer next. I'm a little bit indifferent.
Really?
And the reason being is I take this football team, for example. And one of the things that I've longed for, is a level of physicality.
Right.
To be the identity. And the only way that you get to that point is you get players in here that are physical. B, you begin to coach in a physical manner.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to have a conversation with Zim. I had a breakfast conversation. That's about 4 or 5 minutes, a breakfast conversation, and I'll talk about that in the third segment. But a part of me thinks that there needs to be a level of physicalness. Now, you have to teach it the proper way, though, because teams that are undisciplined, teams that don't do things properly, can lead to injuries.
True. Yeah.
If your team isn't well coached on how to form tackle, if your team is well coached in understanding that, hey, we're not diving for the knees. You know what I mean? We're not trying to have those cheap shots. If your team isn't well coached in that, then that could potentially lead to an injury.
You're right.
But if they are coached well in that, again, it goes back to what I said in the first segment. If I rep more often than not live tackling, I begin to form the habit of what it looks like. I can teach it up on film. Because no one teaches. If everything is a thud or a tag off, there's no coaching going on in the meeting rooms on how to tackle.
Yeah.
But if we could pull up film from a couple of live periods that we do in practice, that we tackle to the ground, then I can say, hey, this is not how we do it. Hey, this is not how that's done. Hey, across the bow, shoot your guns, all that kind of stuff in the form of tackling. Those are tackling terms. So that part of me says, I wish the Cowboys did that more.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of times where this team isn't the best tackling team. This team isn't the physical team at the point of attack. And with Zim being an older school coach, but I know that they've taken on some new school philosophies, I would love to see that implemented more in the Cowboys' way of living to promote the physicalness of what I want to do in the football game.
That was apparently the Steelers. They say they start every practice with a drill called 7 shots, and it's 7 chances from the 2-yard line to get in the end zone, and it's full tilt. I mean, starters, you tackling. I mean, it reminds me of, Nate, you used to go through those. I can't remember what it was when you guys lined up.
Inside run.
Inside run.
You open it up, inside run.
Killed each other.
On the field. Let's go. Let's go, inside run.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's of the 32 teams, 24 either don't tackle at all, which I think Cowboys are in that, or do a little bit of tackling, maybe the backups and that sort of thing. And then these last 4 or whatever, or 4 to 8, whatever it was, have some tackling.
Nate, I'm gonna let you go just 2 seconds. It makes me think, and I know I said I was indifferent, but it just puts me in a space of football is physical.
Yeah.
Like that is the essence of this game. And more, we are trying to pull away from the thing that made this game what it is. And I get it as far as the injuries and the long-term effect of this, but this is why you see some of these things. This is why you're going to, they're taking hitting and tackling out of the game. And this is why you're going to see more of those knee injuries and lower leg injuries, because people don't tackle anymore.
Yeah.
The tackling is piss poor. And it ain't just the DBs. It's the defensive ends. It's the linebackers. Like those days of those guys being the physical, brute force people, it's more becoming finesse in a sense. What do you think, Nate?
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. The thing is, we've always, in this league, been able to coach tackling. And the way you learn how to coach tackling is allowing the guys to do it during practice. And so they have taken it out. Some coaches, a few coaches are still holding on to that. It makes you a better team. It makes you physical without thinking. You don't want to do like the Cowboys do at the end of every year, and all of a sudden you finna face a physical team. Now you got to start thinking physical. You can't think physical. That has to be in your DNA. And so these guys, the Steelers is one team that I knew they was going to be on the list. When I was reading this earlier, I knew the Steelers was going to be on the list. Andy Reid has been notorious, especially when he was in Philadelphia, for almost tackling the whole practice. They just have to go to him and say, hey, Andy, enough is enough. So Andy Reid has always been this guy. Now, what's shocking to me is the Miami Dolphins with their coach. I mean, to look at this guy, you wouldn't think he would be doing any tackling.
Big difference between him and Dan Campbell.
Yeah. But and Dan Campbell, Detroit, you know him. So it helps, bro. It is no. The pros and cons is great on both sides. It is no way that you telling me taking 8 or 9 physical reps in practice is going to destroy you. Because the next day you're going to be off.
Yeah.
You're going to be off the next day.
You
tell them you can't recover from 4 or 5 shots?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Do you think the players today, or maybe even when you were, do you think players today wish there was some tackling, wish there was more hitting?
Nah,
when
guys
you were playing,
always look for the easy way out. Guys are always, no matter who you are, you always looking for the easy way out.
Yeah.
The mindset of the coach is what makes the difference. These guys already know, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and get my 4 or 5 shots, but what I'll go back to is now you don't have to think physical.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to think physical. You are physical. It is what you do. Now, we may not look at the Miami Dolphins as physical, but we got to understand they run almost as much as they pass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to that. They run almost as much as they pass, and then when their running game is clicking, you can't stop their passing game.
Yeah.
So it's something to this, man. It's all about being physical. Because every year it seems like the most physical teams go a little bit further in this league.
I remember, in one of these last few years where they were going to put pads on before they had to face the 49ers because they were going to get more physical. And I remember us talking about you can't just flip the switch and all of a sudden we get more physical.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
And I like that terminology that you use, like to be physical without thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is the part that, you know what I'm saying? Because physical is not something you can turn off and on.
Right.
It just isn't. Like either you are or you are not. That is it.
That's right.
And the things that come into play for football teams in the moments that matter the most are second nature habits.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, when the heat is on.
When the heat is on, when you're tired, that game my example is this. I'll use the basketball for the Olympics. They're playing France, and this game is tight. Mm-hmm. It's in a heated moment, and the ball goes to Steph Curry. Yeah. And 4 times in a row, bang, 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 bang. It was so second nature to him that the moment wasn't too big, but that was his rhythm. He didn't think about making those shots. He was saying, I've taken this shot in every which way possible. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it again. Yeah. And the biggest moments. The game's on the line. Like you were trailing, you were up, you're trying to keep him at bay, you're trying to close the game out. And it's not in week 2 or 3 when you're fresh and you're flying around. It's in week 12.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It's on the road in the fourth quarter. It's when
sir.
Things haven't been going right, but I got to make a play.
Yeah.
It's in the playoffs when teams have honed in on all of your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that's been our Achilles heel against the really good teams. When it came time for us to fire the physical gun, we shot blanks.
Yeah.
So I said I'm indifferent about it.
Don't sound it.
Because I know that it could lead to some in and out, but maybe that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, like you said, if you're doing it right, though, or hopefully that's
when the boom box is at its loudest.
When the boom box is at its loudest, will you respond? When the super gremlin is coming at you, will you be able to pour the water? No, pour the water. How do you get rid of the gremlin? The water makes it grow, right? Whatever you got to do to get rid of the gremlin. Yeah. Who you going to call? Right. Ghostbusters in those moments. All right, we're heading to our last break. When we come back, I'll detail a couple of conversations that I had when I was in Oxnard. I got a chance to sit down at breakfast and at dinner with your defensive coordinator, a defensive line coach, and your assistant head coach, DB coach. I'll tell you what we talked about. I'll tell you what they said when we come back after this. This is Hanging with the Boys. We'll be right back.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at Wingstop.com.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. This Wednesday Hump Day edition. This is our third and final segment of the day. This segment is brought to you by Jigsaw, the official dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Head over to jigsaw.com and hook yourself up. Hook yourself up with a little something over there at Jigsaw. I don't know what's going on over there, but go over there and you find out. For yourself.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I was recently in Oxnard. I was in San Bernardino. I was in Oxnard. I was in a little bit of Malibu. I was
nice trip, huh?
I was around.
Yeah.
I was outside, as the young people like to say.
Yeah.
But while I was in Oxnard, I had the opportunity to have a couple conversations, and that's one of the privileges of. So if you're in Oxnard, if you know this, you wouldn't know this, fans. You guys wouldn't know this because you're not accessible. You don't have access to the behind the scenes stuff. But when you're eating in Oxnard, there are two rooms. When you walk past the front desk, to the right is where the players eat, and then to the left is where other staff members and stuff like that eat. And I don't know if you're not supposed to eat there, whatever. Sometimes I forget. I'm a player.
Yeah,
I'm a player.
Still in your blood.
It's still in my blood. I shed blood on the hollow grounds of Oxnard.
It's true.
So I ate what the players and coaches ate. I went in there. They had better stuff in there. They have the griddles and stuff up there. People up there, the hibachis and all that kind of stuff. They're cooking in there. So while I was in there, and oddly enough, I don't think the offensive coaches must be like on a caloric deficit, a calorie deficit type thing. No offensive people was eating.
No.
None. I didn't run into one offensive coach in 3 days.
Were the offensive players in there? Maybe they.
Yeah, some guys came in there, but I didn't see many offensive coaches. I guess the defensive players, they're saying we're all hungry. They're all doing the Micah and rubbing their stomachs because I had a conversation with 3 coaches, and it wasn't long, in-depth conversation. We didn't get into a lot of deep. We about 3 to 5 minutes apiece. I was respectful of their time and so on and so forth. But so what do you want to hear first? You want to hear Mike Zimmer? You want to hear D'Amico Pata? I'm saying his name right. Or you want to hear Al Harris?
How about Harris? I want to make sure we cover him.
So I got a chance to talk to your assistant head coach and defensive back coach, Al Harris. And, in those spaces, sometimes you got to make it light. So I reminded him of a story that Chad Johnson had told me when my first team was the Cincinnati Bengals, my rookie year. So Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco was my vet. Mm-hmm. And one of the people that he always raved about was Al Harris.
Okay.
That was the one DB that he gave the utmost respect to. He said Al Harris, if he pressed you, it was a wrap. He got his hands on you, it was over. And so I kind of shared that with him, and he laughed about it. He goes, man, me and Chad had some good battles. He's like, that's my dude. And we kind of just, and so that kind of ushered and opened up the way for us to have a conversation. And I told him that the Carson kid was my pet cat, and why it was my pet cat. I just thought, ACC guy, Power 5 conference. I just looked at the guy and said he has a ton of experience. Yeah. To be a 4-year starter, you know how many reps that is that you get, going back to the rep conversation? Mm-hmm. And he raved about this kid.
Oh, yeah.
He said that he says, man, he said, I got me another one.
Ooh, wow.
He said, I got me another one.
That's nice.
And he said, he said, and if people are asking why, maybe we aren't signing a guy like Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
He got him another one. And he said, this kid has everything that you want. Mm. He said the biggest thing about him, though, that he's eager to learn more.
Oh, wow.
And he said if there's anything that I found in coaching in the newer generation, he said everybody isn't eager to learn more.
Yeah.
They want to learn enough, and once that enough kind of gets them on the field, they don't want to know anymore.
Right. Okay.
Or they don't want to spend enough time learning more.
Right.
And he says this kid is different. Like, he wants to know more. He's eager to learn more and more and more and more. And he basically said, I got another one. Right. And that was exciting to hear.
Yeah, very much so.
And so I talked about him, and he kind of briefly talked about Diggs and other guys, and he said, this group that I have of DBs now, the way that they challenge each other, he said he said it's the iron sharpen iron theory.
Right.
That each one of these guys push themselves and they compete in everything. And he's like, everything, it's a competition. Yeah. Everybody wants to beat the next man in something that we do as a unit. And so that just kind of left me, that was like, wow, okay. I got my confirmation on Carson. He believed Diggs is going to get back to form. They're kind of slow walking him back in it, but he's going to be ready to go. And just sitting there talking to him, and we talked about some other stuff that's, personal stuff, but just getting to sit and talk with him and talk ball with him. It's a bright dude, man.
Yeah.
Like, I get and understand why. I know why Mike wanted to bring him. I mean, not Mike, Dan Quinn.
No,
I know why Dan wanted to bring him.
Yeah.
I know why Mike wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
Like, I am 100%, after sitting and talking with him, I'm 100% clear why.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason Mike McCarthy isn't re-signed or Zim isn't re-signed, there is going to be an all-out, free-for-all, free agent battle to grab Al Harris.
Yeah.
He's intelligent. He's engaging. He's likable. He's knowledgeable. Like, he's one of those. He's a leader of men.
Yeah, and players seem to love him.
And players love him.
Yeah.
And that's because he's authentic. Like, just sitting there talking to him, you felt the authenticity in the things that he was saying. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go next to Coach Zim. I got a chance to talk to Coach Zim, and I was kind of just giving him like zingers. And I asked him, I said, Coach, if you had to give me one word for your defense, He kind of paused for a second. He looked at me, and he said, "Unpredictable."
Okay. All right. I hope that means the offense doesn't know where they're going, or
And
not
I think
that he doesn't know what's going on.
No. I think that he meant the offense doesn't know where he's coming from.
Yeah.
You put in the notes as well. He called this last game without a play sheet.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that I heard Sean McVay say about playing against this defense was they confused us.
Okay.
They got after us, and they had some looks and some things that we didn't see coming.
All right.
And this was a
to hear.
this was a conversation that I had with Zim, and he said unpredictable. And I didn't get into specific players with him about certain things, but he said unpredictable. I want this defense to be unpredictable, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm assuming he meant to the opposing offense.
Yeah.
I don't want them to ever have a bead on where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And he just said that my goal is to get all the guys in the right place to be successful.
That's awesome.
And so
That's what we want to hear.
That another thing that you want to hear from coaches.
Yeah.
And it looked, if you looked at the first preseason game, there were some looks where they were getting after. I mean, 4 interceptions against Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. And the players seem to be, I mean, they've been talking about there's a lot of new twists and turns to this defense.
Yeah.
They seem to really like what's going on.
This defense doesn't have the complexity or what we're looking for. It's simple. It's simpler.
Okay.
In the sense of what they're wanting to do. Now, I don't know how that'll grow throughout the season, but the push was to get simpler, to get faster.
All right.
And that's what they wanted to do. And then the last one that I had, a former teammate of mine, and he didn't remember me at first, and then I had to kind of break some stories to him, and he was like, oh, yeah. Now, either he was a really good liar or he actually genuinely remembered these things. But it's one of the assistants, I'm saying his name wrong. His last name is Pekka. Damata Pekka. He's a defensive lineman. And I asked him about the defensive lineman. I asked him about Mozzie and those guys, and he said, and he said, I'm not coach. He said, but what I will say is this young group, they listen. He said they listen. He said, I've tried to coach some other guys and other teams and other places, and they just didn't want to grasp the concept that I was trying to teach them. And this is the guy who's been in the league. He probably played in this league plus 12 years. Wow. So a ton of knowledge.
Yeah.
And he said this young group listens. And so I'm hoping that's the next step that guys like Mozzie and so on and so forth take. He didn't get specific in who he was talking about, but he just said, man, I really like coaching this group because they listen. And if that's, I'm taking all these things as pluses.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Yeah.
So Nate, any conversation that you may have had with any of the coaches while you've been there that kind of plays into that?
Yeah, these guys, man, they good, solid coaches, man. I just watch them. Being out here just watching them, they constant, man. They like most coaches, they're constant talking to their players. They're to the point where they have to move way back from practice because they about to tell the play. You know how some coaches get so hyped on defense, strength right, look for, about to tell them, look for this,
Right.
Look, trying to get them to read their keys. And these young guys, you see Greg Ellis and the young man that you're talking about, always in these players' ear, on and off the field. When they'll run on and off the field with the other coach, Big Jeff, man, he played like 17 years, man. They running on and off the field talking to these guys. They don't wait till they get to the sideline to talk to them. They'll run out there and meet them. This is what you need to do. This is what you're looking for. This is what your key. So they're coaching, and they're trying to put them all in the right place. The key, I think, for this camp is for when you said that Coach Zim is saying, I'm trying to get guys to line up in the right place and do your responsibility. Because he is banking. I know Coach Zim is banking on Coach Al Harris to have that back end right, because our front end is going to take some work. And so if he can get keep that back end in place with no major injuries, it's going to help that front end tremendously, especially in pass situations.
Oh, yeah. You're right. That Pecco, he was a long time, and he was a career nose tackle under Zimmer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they brought him in, I guess, to help teach that defense. That's great.
Yeah, he was my teammate in Cincinnati way back when in 2007. He was there
forever.
Yeah, he was there for a real long time. Real long
11
time.
years.
Yeah.
All the guys, Coach Jeff, Pekka, Greg, all these guys played 10-plus years.
Yeah.
They got a wealth of knowledge, man. It's just, will the players be willing to listen? Will they be willing to listen and go to the next level?
Let's hope so.
And the one thing that this has been normally how it works, defense, when you're talking about like, all right, what side of the ball usually comes together and gels and forms faster, it's always defense.
Really?
Defense always comes together because if you're running cover 3, you're running like those principles don't change. You see what I'm saying? If you're a linebacker, your drops are still the same in cover 3. It's been the same thing since high school, in college, and in the pros. You see what I'm saying? Like those things don't change. So if you're running a cover 2 or cover 4 or quarters or quarter half, whatever it is, those principles don't change. Now, when you get the exotics is where, you know, if you're adding some sauce to it, if you're adding a rush to it or a blitz off of it, but cover 2 is cover 2.
Yeah.
That does not change your drops in cover 2. So that's why sometimes it always gels and comes together a little bit quicker defensively because you've been running the same coverage patterns and same drop that you would have in any other time that you play that position.
Yeah.
Offensively, it takes more. The timing takes a little bit more. Get more guys gelled because you literally have all these guys doing separate things that sometimes can be, you know, they have to connect. It has to all go together. So right now, the defense looked like they played well. Have 4 interceptions the last game, and more work to do. It'll be another challenge this week against the Vegas Raiders.
Vegas, yeah.
This a sidebar. This is just a sidebar.
Okay.
This is just messy Jess.
Uh-oh.
This is
Watch
just
out.
messy Jess. Mark Davis, nobody is watching the Dak Prescott, Jones's front office contract battle closer than Mark Davis.
I think he's hoping to swoop in.
Oh, they're a quarterback away.
Yeah.
They're a quarterback away now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got 2 good tight ends. They got Mike Myers and the kid from Georgia, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
They got running backs. They got Devontae Adams. Now they got Gardner Minshew and the other kid, Aiden O'Connell. They're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away, and Mark Davis. I think he'll print the money. I think he'll print the money. If I'm not mistaken, Vegas don't have no state tax either, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that don't play no more. Hey, state tax. Ain't no state tax in Vegas. Houses probably a little cheaper somewhere in the desert. So there's one person that's watching this whole thing unfold.
Yeah, they ain't got much at quarterback.
They got Gardner Minshew and what's the other kid name? Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Mark Davis is sitting there with that bowl cut. He's sitting there with that bowl cut, and he just saying, "Don't pay him, Jerry."
Pulling them slots. He pulling them slots.
Yeah, he said, Jerry, you gamble if you want. I'm gonna bet the house on the boy. So I look at that and I go, there's not one person that's watching. I'm gonna be looking to see Mark Davis on the field pregame. Who hand he's trying to shake.
Yeah.
If he's out there having a conversation a little too long with Dak, I'm just being messy Jess, y'all. I'm being messy Jess. But I know Mark Davis is like, the minute he walks out in free agency, we're putting a deal on the table, $65 million. All right, that's it for us.
Can I?
Sorry.
Can I give a shameless plug?
Yes.
Our Bob Hayes documentary comes posted tomorrow night.
Okay.
On YouTube. And
What's the name of it?
Cowboys Now. It's called The Fast Lane.
The
Bob
Fast
Hayes,
Lane.
Part of our Deep Blue series. It will air online tomorrow night at 7, and then it'll be local here, Channel 11.
It's glad to know you can speak up, Kurt, when you need to.
Yeah, don't play. My boy trying to win his second Emmy. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's get that. So go ahead and check that out on Channel 11.
Yeah, YouTube channel, Cowboys
YouTube.
Now app. It'll be on Channel 11 locally on Saturday night.
All right, the Fast Lane.
Yep.
The Bob Hayes documentary.
Florida
Bob
A&M,
Hayes.
baby.
Okay,
Rattlers.
HBCU,
That's
the
right.
Rattlers.
Yeah.
All right, that'll
Best
do it.
man in the world.
That'll do it for us.
It will.
Appreciate you. I don't know what's gonna happen on Friday. We got some stuff that we need to work out.
Yeah.
No, we won't have a show Friday.
Oh well, it's okay. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's all over. We'll see you. We'll see y'all guys
Next
Tuesday.
week.
Next Tuesday, yes, sir.
Daddy
I'm
Nate
trying
said.
to look out for us, man. I'm telling you, trying to wipe us out. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna be like that.
Daddy Nate said we're not having the show. So
What we call it, salt and pepper, pappy. What we call
salt
you
and
just
pepper
now?
poppy.
Seven
Salt-
pepper pappy. Yeah,
salt and pepper.
I'm letting you know your boy sitting next to you messed it all up.
Butchered
Man.
it open on Monday. Butchered it, start to finish, stumbling. It was awful.
All right, man. Let's get us up out of here, man. Appreciate you, Kurt.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Josh,
Thank
for
you.
keeping us in the back. Thank you, Josh, for doing what you do, even while you're in Oxnard. Nate, we appreciate you. Boots on the ground. Hey, Nate, those rooms are nice, right? I was in one of those little.
Yeah,
I was
them
used to
rooms
the
nice, ain't they?
yeah. I was used to the upstairs, downstairs, but now they built a whole other wing over there. Where they got this one bedroom, nice little suites over there. They got some nice rooms. I
Pick
was
something in, Jess. Pick
yeah.
something in.
No.
You need a longer stay next time.
Ain't no trailer parks. Ain't no trailer parks in Oxnard.
You didn't have training camp eyes yet.
Yeah, I know. I ain't no training camp. I didn't have no training
There's
camp.
some trailer parks, but it disguised as home.
I know, right? You go down to Malibu and stuff like that. No trailer parks out there. Yeah. All right, man. For Salt and Pepper Poppy, this is Hanging with the Boys. Until next time, we out.
We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!